Welcome, everyone, to DEI After 5, the show that focuses on topics across diversity, equity, and inclusion with some of the brightest minds in the industry. Here's your hostess, inclusive culture curator and coach, Sacha Thompson.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of DEI After 5. All right, so if you have done any work with me, if you know anything about me, you know I am always talking about the important work of doing introspective work, right? Working on yourself before you work with others, work on others. And it is probably one of the most difficult things that I think anyone can go through. And so today we are going to talk to Coach Fred, who is the CEO of OneBlood Movement of Unity, about how do you do the work within before you start to do work outwardly. So Coach Fred, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me, Sacha. This is huge, I think, and I love the way you bring it in. Y'all doing it big. I love it. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So for folks who may not know who you are or what you do, can you give us a little bit of your story?
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much again. I am Coach Fred. So I've created an organization titled OneBlood Movement of Unity. And what that incorporates is it's really to eradicate racism. That's the whole projection. And the way I feel like I can do it is I mentor youth and I turn them into the best version of themselves. And I guide them into loving themselves completely, because I feel like if you can love yourself completely, you can love anyone else. You can understand yourself completely. You can understand anyone else. So to me, I think that's the way of eradicating. The second part of it is to make sure that we life coach, especially our men. I am a man's advocate. I believe that men are the leaders of the world. I don't think women are not. That's just not what I'm saying. Make sure we get that clear. It's just that in the role-ship of fatherhood and husbandhood, I do think men take the leadership role. So if you have the man or the head of the house in a good perspective of his own self, then he can lead his family in the right direction. Henceforth, eradicating racism. The third way I do it is I feed the homeless and the needy, and I feed we do about roughly over 5,000 every Thanksgiving. So wow. I do that to bring in people. What's the best way to bring in people? Food. That's for sure. You can bring in anybody. It don't matter who it is. You can bring in anybody with food. And what that does is get me out there. It gets me into people, and it allows me to be able to minister to people in their space. I meet them exactly where they're at. I meet them in their space. So that's Coach Fred.
I love it. I love it. So, when I started the top of the show, I said that I'm always talking about doing the work on yourself, doing that introspective work. But it's also some of the most difficult work to do. So as you're working with youth, as you're working with men in this space, how are you helping them start that journey of doing some of that introspective work?
I love the mirror. I love the mirror effect. That's the one key thing that has brought me and kept me in a good headspace. And what I mean by that, the mirror is the only one that won't lie to you. The mirror is the only one that will tell you the exact truth, the in-depth truth of who you are. And a lot of people don't realize I'm a believer. So I believe in Christ. I believe in the Holy Word. So my mirror is the Word. And then the second mirror is the actual physical mirror. What people don't do is they don't talk to themselves in the mirror. They never do. You can rarely ever get people to even look in the mirror and just say, hey, how are you doing?
Right.
That's a rarity. When I do the DEI training here in Clayton, North Carolina, that's the thing that I do. I give everybody a small complex mirror, and then I ask them a series of questions, and you will see this over and over and over again. You will see them pick it up for half a second and put it back down, and they'll look away. So the biggest thing that you hit in me from my training over the years, I've always looked at it as you don't understand exactly who you are. So the best way to do it is look at yourself.
Yeah. And it's so funny because, we as a society, right? This microwave society. We look in the mirror for a quick, how do I look on a superficial level?
Right.
But I love what you're saying in that we like, how do you look deeper into the parts of us that we may or may not like?
Right.
And not from a physical standpoint, right? You're truly talking about from a psychological, spiritual standpoint, like how are you showing up in the world? And it's interesting because, you know, I love that mirror analogy, because oftentimes, and I say this, in my psychological safety work, you know, folks will say, oh, well, this place isn't psychologically safe for me, but you're the one acting the fool, right? So have you looked into the mirror and shown how you are showing up in this space? And so I appreciate that analogy, because it does cause us to, okay, are people just reacting based on what I'm putting out there? Or is there something else that's going on, right? Is there something that's deeper that I need to unpack, which may not be easy or may not be pretty to unpack within ourselves?
I believe that. I believe that all the way. That like you said, I love that the outer appearance. When people look in the mirror nowadays, they only see what they want someone else to see.
Yeah.
It's very rare that they see what they need to see. And that's the hard part. I mean, you hit it on the head. That's the hard part, of just really realizing exactly who you are. And a lot of people don't like themselves. That's why we have racism. They don't like themselves. They don't understand themselves. But the key to it is they don't like what they have learned. People don't want to hate. That's not something you come in the world and say, today I want to hate you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I've been married for 22 years. I coach a marriage course, certified life coach, certified youth mentor, background psychology, as well as yours. So this is always running for people like me and you. We're very analytical. So to help people, we have to analyze ourselves first. We can't go into a situation and have a real strong counseling session if we're not emptied out and then fill back in with greatness, so we can pull greatness back into them. And me personally, I just think that's where the slope is people, when they look in that mirror, they're scared to get that out. They're you know, because they don't know what that looks like.
Well, and it's interesting. So much of it is tied to how we were raised, the community. And so it forces you to question the values that were put in you. And it's not saying that those values change. It may be a shift. And a lot of the work that I do, you know, with individuals in coaching is we start with values. Like, let's narrow down, what are your top 5 values? And when I tell you, folks think that is probably a difficult task.
Yes.
It is truly a difficult task. But I'm like, you operate in those values every single day, if you know it, if you're conscious of it or not. And so when I'm listening to you and we're talking about hate, people are so wedded to those values that they've probably skewed them to be something slightly different than they truly are. Right. So, for example, when I hear racism, right, it's often tied to fairness. It's not fair that this group gets to do something versus this group. Right. And this is against who I am, or, you know, I'm not going to benefit from that. Well, first of all, you're talking in this I thing. And so it's whole individual versus group. And that's a whole other conversation. But what does fairness mean? What does that look like? Right. And so then you start to unpack what that looks like for them. And they may realize, oh, it's seeped in not fairness, but in fear.
Right.
Well, you can't operate in fear. Right? You can't operate in fear. So what are you afraid of? What is it that you truly are afraid of? Is it that it may come out that you are only mediocre, which isn't a bad thing. That just might not be your gift.
Right.
Right. So, you know, when we do this introspective work, when we talk about values, when we're talking about, as you say, like looking in the mirror, it is asking ourselves, how did we get to this place? Like, what were the things that led us to this moment in this place that make me feel and think the way that I do? about me and about others.
Indeed.
And so when you are talking to youth, what are some of the challenges that they have once they get to that point? Right now, they're like, okay, I kind of understand or know, who I am, but how do they move forward past that?
So now what we do is we got changed because we got COVID kids. So it's a whole nother ball game.
They're a different breed,
so,
yes.
Yeah. I've been coaching football for over 20 years, youth football, and I retired and I came back, and I probably shouldn't have. My God, it's different. So I'm on a different spectrum now for dealing with the kids. Now, initially before COVID, now pre-COVID, once we got them to a certain level, a certain developed level, I did the same thing military did us. The first 2 weeks, I drill them. I pour everything that's in them out. The same thing they did in the military. The first 2 weeks, they drill us. They get all the negativity out, all the foolishness, everything that we ever been through that was hard and just wrong. They poured it out. They poured everything out. And then after that, you start refilling. Once the refilling process starts, that means the understanding part starts. Once the understanding part starts, now we start getting into the love part. All right, now what do you love about yourself and how? And then you have to ask your question, why? Now I'm really putting the foundation on that individual mind. And instead of just putting it out in the atmosphere, when you put it out in the atmosphere, that's that microwave mentality snatches it. Yep. I need it right now. I want it right now. I got to have it right now.
Yep.
The way I'm doing it is everything takes a process. Just like I drilled you for 2 weeks. Now I'm pouring into you for 2 weeks. Now I'm teaching you how to love yourself for another 2 weeks. Everything works as a process. And that's the way I do it now. COVID, my God. I love children. Nobody get me wrong. My God. I love them babies. But
however, comma, right.
Yeah. Man, we need help. We need all the psychology people, all the life coaches, all the youth mentors, the ones that are certified, the ones that are not certified. If you have any mentality of growth and love, we need it, because these children have no what's the word that was the other day? It's common sense is not so common, so we know that. But consideration and a mentality to fight for something they believe is out the window. So we're doing something. I have to come in a new way.
Yeah.
And I'm studying that now. I'm just being honest with COVID kids. I'm studying that now because it's different.
And it's interesting because even though they are young kids, there's a subset that are in the workplace, right? Very similar mentality, very similar approach to work and life. And so even though we're talking about the youth, this is the foundation work that needs to happen, because they will come into the workplace. They will continue to go into the workplace. They will continue to create an impact, positive, negative, or indifferent, right? In how we operate. And so all of this is so critical in how we are creating these foundations, how we are building these relationships, how we are building community, right? So that's the other piece of this, is there's a need for community. And what you're saying, or what I'm hearing you say, is there's almost this very individualistic mindset. I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to do me, not necessarily understanding the greater impact that has on the group or the greater community. And so how do you, as you're going through this individual work with the kids, now create, this is you're part of a community that you are also responsible for?
So now we teach teamwork. We teach a lot of teamwork. The thing I've been doing now, especially with coaching them at football, I do relays. I do things, whatever involves team. I explain team, because even with the individuality part, I tell them, you don't even understand yourself yet. So how can you just float for self first? You haven't picked up on who you are yet. And that's a mentality that we have to shift out and change. So what I've been teaching them is companionship with others, how to be genuine with another one. It's okay to help. You know, it's okay to go in there and pick up the ball. It's okay to pat your teammate and say good job. Those things are not taught anymore.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, I scored. Yeah, I did it. What was that? Coach Carter had that the basketball movie. He went in there one practice and said, "Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that." Until they caught on that it is based off a team, and what they're catching now by building that, they're starting to realize I'm a part of a family at home, so I need to do and pick up more for my family because I'm a part of the family. So what I'm giving out in the world, they're not even getting at home.
Right.
And that's why I love life coaching adults as well, because you got to teach them the foundation that they don't have with family values. Right. Family values are the same thing as team values. We all doing it and moving it together. That's the shift that we got to move towards, right, in my opinion, that we're moving towards right now.
My wheels are turning.
I see it. Yeah, I see it. I see it going.
They're going, you know, because it's the team mentality, I think, is so important in that we do this as a collective. But to your point, we need to learn what a collective is, and how we all may have different roles in that, so that we all can be successful, right? So I love the relay aspect of it, because everyone has a part to play. And if we are all successful in our individual parts, the team as a collective will be successful, right? The other thing that came to my mind, and I've mentioned this on the show before, is I've been doing some reading on non-Western ways of learning. And a big part of that is every community that this book covers talks about community. It is outside of the Western world, community is key to how we learn, how we grow, how we stay connected, how we honor our elders, how we honor our youth. All of that is tied in. And it is such a part of who we are as communities who have been marginalized. That's just a sense of who we are, right? And you see it across the world in how we take care of, you know, people in our villages or in our communities. How if one person is sick, somebody's going to have a bush in their yard that's going to take care of that sickness, that you know who to go to. That's just innate in who we are. And so we are now operating in a very Western world that is very individualistic, very me, right? And so you have to counterbalance that. And I think, you know, the work that you're doing is absolutely doing that counterbalance to, yes, it's yes, it's me. However, there is a we in this that we need to make sure we stay focused on. And then the last thing that kind of came to my mind is I've been very intentional when I write my emails or send, you know, anything out to someone, my newsletter, my closing is always in community. And I do that because I can't do what I do without other people. And so how can I help? How can I support? Without expecting anything in return. Like, that's the other piece of it, is how do we do this in a way where we're all moving together? Because when I do need something, I know I can go to my community and ask, right?
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a big burden. So all of that was going through my head just now. In how do we, you know, with the youth, it is so critical that we pour in love and support and skills, because a lot of this is skills and competencies that adults don't even have, as you said, right? How do we give them those things such that when they do grow up, they don't lose it? It's not just in this moment of youth, but we carry it on the rest of our lives. And so my question to you is like, what does that piece look like? Right? How do they leave you, and working with you, how do they take all of that forward?
I still have college kids coming back now. So when they go to college, they graduated, they graduated high school, they moved on to college, and they're going on with their life. So now they come back and they help me coach the Little League football. That's how it looks now. With the COVID kids, let me reiterate this. I don't know how it's going to look in probably about 10 more years. but for right now, yes, we have the kids that come back, and then with the Thanksgiving feeding that we do every year, they come and help. The small community events that I put on, they come back and help. So adding that value to their life and letting them, not just adding value to them, but letting them see why the value is important. Everything starts with a why, and you know that. I know you teach the same thing. Yeah. But if you don't have an understanding of the why, it's not going to stick with you. You're just going to push it to the side. You can be like, yeah, it doesn't have any, it's got great value to it, but I don't understand that value, so it doesn't add anything to me. Yeah. So right now I'm adding in the why question, like really hard and really deep. Okay, now why did you do this, and why are you doing it? And it sets a different tone and different atmosphere for that mindset. It's not always shifting them into a place to where you want them to think because you think that way. That's not that's not the purpose. The purpose is to teach them how to better the way they're thinking. And that's the belief that I have now with these kids. And we grew up in an era, like perfectly, like you put a while ago, in a village mindset. Everybody got a piece of the pie. You can get your hind part tore up by everybody on the street. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And if you ain't home by street light time, a belt might be slinging while you walking down the road. So with that mentality, instead of belts, now we have to sling our mind. Yeah, and we have to shoot these kids, because what we give them, and adults as well, what we give them when they get back to their natural, what's considered their natural environment, that's kind of pushed out the window. Then we have to re-do it. So I always have to add in why you're doing it. Like, why are you making up your bed? Why are you brushing your teeth? If I'm explaining the values that I'm adding and adding that why to it, it sticks a little bit harder than just adding them, and then just adding on value. It sticks harder, sticks better.
Yeah, they're doing it because they understand the why of they're doing it versus I'm just doing it because I have to.
Right.
There's a reason. So I'm gonna do a bit of a pivot. And what are the things that you do to take care of you? Like you give to the youth, you give to the community.
Yeah.
What does Coach Fred do to take care of Coach Fred? How do you fill your cup?
It seemed like it's a hard question, because as psychologists we're like, no, we gotta take care of your problem. You got a problem, let me handle it. So I love fishing. My fishing time is my God time. That's when I get a lot of downloads from the good Lord. That's when I'm able to move proper in my gift. Fishing, I'm a hunter. So when I hunt, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. When I hunt, my ideal of hunting seriously is when I go out there and sit down, I'm going to take me a nap, like for real. I'm going to take me a good nap while I'm out there in the woods and wilderness, and I'm listening to the birds, the squirrels, the little whatever is out there. I'm listening to it, and I'm out. When I wake up, all you animal lovers, forgive me, but it tastes good when I pop one in the head of deer and he go into the freezer. So that's my downtime. And then I do too. I love my mirror. I love my mirror. My mirror reminds me of who I need to continue to be and how to get better. Without that, I can't be if I can't be the best version of me, I can't be the best version of you. And then I can't expect you to be the best version of yourself if I'm not giving you the best version of me. So I have to have some downtime, even away from my children, even away from my wife. I'm teaching a marriage course now, and we're teaching that now, is how to really self-build and know your self-worth. Even in a unity marriage, you have to have self-worth. You're still one. I mean, you're two people, but you're united as one. That's spiritually, but physically, you're two different people, and you have two mindsets. So you gotta take some time to yourself. So I'm a huge believer get some rest. Whatever your hobby is, mine is fishing, mine is hunting. I do love the mirror. I do. That's my reflection time.
Wonderful. So if folks wanted to get in touch with you, what is the best way for them to do that?
Oh, man, you can call 919-944-1800. That is my office in Clayton, North Carolina. You can also reach out to obmou.com. That is my website, obmou.com. If you just remember OneBlood Movement of Unity, you can find Coach Fred. And you can, once you type in my name, you can actually find just about everything on me right now. It's been a blessing. If you want to donate, you can go to the website, because we're about to feed Thanksgiving. We normally feed we feed over 5,000 every year, which is huge. It's a blessing. I cook for 4 days. You talking about?
I saw that barbecue pitmaster thing on your wall. So yeah.
Oh, can you see it? Can you see it?
I saw that. I peeped that. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it in. I ain't gonna lie to you. We get it in. I got a mean barbecue that I do. But for Thanksgiving, yeah, we cook 4 days, and then I'm out for about a week, because that's a lot. But yeah, if you want to donate, you want to give, or if you're in the Clayton area of North Carolina, you want to come help out, I'm taking all volunteers. 5,000 people is not a overnight or an hour event. Yeah, it's got a little time. We normally max it about 4 hours. So we do pretty good. And that's in shifts. People take 2 hours, and then the next group comes in every 2 hours. So, and that's the big part.
Well, Coach Fred, thank you so much for your time today and sharing with us, because, again, this is such a critical part of this work, right? Is doing that introspective work and understanding how you show up and how you can be in community with others, because that is how we're all going to move forward. That is how we eradicate all of the isms, racism, sexism, all of them, right? Is operating in unity and in community. So thank you so much for the work that you do and for spending your time with us today.
Oh, you're beautiful. I appreciate you. Thank you to your audience as well. Y'all are awesome.
Thank you. And thank you all for tuning into this week's episode. I hope that you were able to find some way to do some of your own mirror work and introspection as you continue to hone your craft and understand how we all work collectively to make this world a better place. You can tune in every Tuesday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, have a good one.